the man with me now actually thinks that Germany has got quite a lot to answer for when it comes to the state of the EU economy. He's Charles Dumas from Lombard Street Research. Charles, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Tell us a little bit about Germany and the role that it's playing at the moment in Europe.
Well, I mean, the Germans are working on the presumption that they have a strong economy, when in fact, of course, their economy has been extremely weak. If we just take the period since the last recession, the total growth of France and Britain is between 10 and 11%, US and Spain 16%, Germany between 3 and 4%. Half of that of Japan, which is supposed to be a sick man, and only less bad than Italy, which has exactly 0.5% growth over 8 years. So they're very poor. And the problem is that they won't stimulate their economy. They're desperate to have surpluses and to invest abroad. But, of course, they're very weak on arithmetic in Germany. If one person has a surplus, simple arithmetic tells you that someone else has to have a deficit because the whole lot adds up to nil. And the Germans want everyone to be like Germany. But if we all had surpluses, then without a large net export surplus to the moon, there would be no economy.
So, in effect, what their policy is doing is it's crushing the rest of Europe.
Yes, they are crushing the rest of Europe without providing any kind of counterweight in the form of their own stimulus. There is a small stimulus going through thanks to the enlightened attitude of Guido Westerwelle, the Free Democrat leader who's joined the coalition, and is a breath of fresh air, frankly, in the stifling atmosphere of German politics. That will help a little bit, but there's so much negativity and so much problem with consumption in Germany that I doubt it's enough to get them going.
But Charles, doesn't this go right to the very heart of the problem of the Eurozone? This one-size-fits-all doesn't really work.
Yeah, of course it doesn't fit all, because, I mean, actually we call it one-size-fits-none, because the interest rate that is averaged out, so to speak, for the whole of the Eurozone for the last 10 years has always been too low for Greece, Spain and all those guys on the Club Med, and too high for Germany. So the Germans, who are a slow-growth economy, grow even slower than they would, and the other guys, who are fast-growth economies, grow too fast because of the low rates.
Now, we've just seen George Papandreou come out this morning and say, frankly, not very much, really. Greece does seem to be in a fairly strong position at the moment, doesn't it?
I think so, yes, because if the Europeans don't step up to the plate and help the Greeks, and to be sure they will, because basically Sarkozy is using Club Med as a kind of club to strengthen his hand vis-à-vis the Germans, and ultimately the Germans will have to play ball with this one. But if they were not to step up and help the Greeks, then he'll go to the IMF, and that'll demonstrate that the European solidarity, or whatever they call it, is meaningless.
Now, interesting, we actually had a German come out today and say that the IMF might be somewhere that Greece should look. That's really not going to happen, though, is it?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's a substantial volume of people in Germany who probably think that either Greece should be out of the euro or maybe Germany should.
They don't want to bail out Greece anyway.
But they don't want to bail out Greece, and, you know, I sympathise with them about that. I think it would be much healthier for Germany and for Europe if Germany were to float off by itself and have a sort of higher valued Deutschmark, spend its own money, stop being so ultra-competitive, start enjoying themselves, go back to the days when they had good spending power, went around the world and felt good about the Deutschmark. That would be better for Germany, and of course it would be much better for Greece, because then they'd be able to grow.
Let's come on to the UK now. We've just had the debt figures out. They're better than expected, but of course they come off a month where the tax receipts should have been a lot higher and weren't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think 1 month's figures matter a row of beans here. If you go back,
do they not matter a row of beans though in this particular political climate?
I don't think so particularly. No, unless I don't think Joe Q.
Budget
Public
next
is.
week?
Well, I don't think people are out there saying, "Oh my goodness gracious me, 2 billion out in February. I'm going to vote Labour or Conservative or whatever it is as a result." Possibly, but I doubt it. The thing that matters economically speaking, which is what we're supposed to know something about, is that the net British debt was a little over 30% of GDP 2 years ago, and is going up by 10% or more a year. And what matters is whether it goes on at 10% a year for 2 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. That's the thing that really matters, not what happens between one month and the next.
Now, sterling went up today on that news. Do you think that's a blip?
Yeah, I think that's a blip. It just goes to show those guys don't have a busy enough job. I mean, you know, frankly, if that moves the market, then poor old them.
Charles, thank you very much indeed for talking to us this morning. Thank you.
Okay, it's a pleasure.